Well, good afternoon, and first, thank you for accepting the invitation to talk about sports tourism with the Bermuda Tourism Authority and the initiatives in which you guys have started and you want to continue. Obviously, I'm a big sports person throughout the island, various sports. But you've started something that I think has been a miss for a long time, and it's been a consistency since you started. I just want to get a sense and give the viewers at Islandstats an opportunity to hear what is the long-term goals for the sports tourism side for the Bermuda Tourism Authority.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. We really appreciate it to be able to share information on our strategies around sports tourism. The long-term goal really is to leverage the great facilities that Bermuda has and from a seasonality perspective, make the most of them at the time of year when we really need visitors. You know, we're all familiar with the winter dip that happens here in visitors coming to Bermuda. And what we've done is targeted the November through March period, and we see it as really the peak season for sports events and experiences in Bermuda. And there's two strands to that. The first strand is how we use sport to get a new generation of visitors here. And so spring break, which used to be college weeks, is now sports spring break. We invite and we put the opportunity out to college sports teams to come and do spring training here, pre-season training, spring training. It's at a time of year when they travel. They could go to Florida, they traditionally, those kinds of places. But it's at the time of year that we can really give them a great sports training experience. It's great weather for training outdoors. We have a fantastic facility now in the multi-sport complex that the National Sports Centre is. And our partnership with them, the NSC, allows us to put that opportunity in front of teams for the sports that we're targeting. We're targeting swimming, soccer, lacrosse, these sports that we could really support here in the winter months. So sports tourism is helping us to address our seasonality goals.
Right. Does it, because we see so much sports on television and Bermudians are involved in so much sport, does it help or hurt that a organization is already here? Because I know you mentioned lacrosse, and I know that you guys have worked with lacrosse before, but we don't see it as an active organization anymore as it used to be. It used to be every Sunday at the BFA field before they done all the renovations, and then they moved up to Bermuda College, but we don't see them on a regular anymore. So is that more of a hindrance to get kind of support buy-in from the general public kind of thing?
Not really. We haven't seen that. Lacrosse is a growing sport in the US. The US is one of our core markets.
Right.
And so we're looking at this from the external point of view. We're offering them a great training facility in a great place and a fantastic experience. So the lacrosse teams are very interested, and the tournament that we had here last year generated a lot of interest, brought the editor of Lacrosse magazine down and so on. And so we expect to see that in terms of getting people from outside to come and play, to grow. And from a local perspective, they actually do get to play with local teams as well. And that's a big part of what we like to have happen. You know, the interaction and the competition with locals is something that actually can make the visit to Bermuda even greater for the teams. So we see lacrosse as being a growing area for us in terms of inward visitation to Bermuda for sports tourism. The other aspect of sports tourism for us is more possibly more well established. We're talking about golf, for example. We're looking at golf in segments now. There are sort of major sponsored titled events, like we have the Nike PGA, Canada PGA Nike event coming back to Bermuda. That's 200 people when we need them, at the time of year that we need them. We also have golf on a collegiate level, same way with the sports teams coming in to play and to train. And then on the individual level, there are some growth areas for golf. Women's golf is an area that we're definitely targeting. And we've had some great success with already in terms of groups of female golfers coming to play here, because They can play great golf, they can interact with locals, but they also can enjoy the rest of Bermuda in an environment that their families don't have to worry about when they're here.
Right.
So we're segmenting golf, and again, we're having great success with doing that as well.
I was gonna ask about that because we've seen over the last the Grand Slam was here 8 years, 9 years, and now we have the America's Cup. We seem like we don't get into long-term major events because the Grand Slam was every 2 years. We got it extended. We have the America's Cup. Hopefully that it gets extended. But are we looking to like nail down something that can give us something to project to in years to come?
Well, there's a strength and a weakness in doing that. I think if you have one event for a very long time and it generates good volume for you and continues to do that, that's fantastic. The marathon weekend, for example, 900 people came for the last marathon weekend. And we have 20 and 30-year anniversaries of each of the races in that for next year. Fantastic event in terms of volume and longevity. But you can also see it in terms of a genre. So sailing, for example, America's Cup is absolutely fantastic for us to have here. It is a global mega sailing event, sporting event, I should say, and it's great. It's putting us on the map for sailing now. But we're leveraging that for further, not just for one event for America's Cup, but we're leveraging it to have new events come within the sailing genre. So we've had 4 new regattas happen here in the first quarter of this year, first 2 quarters of this year. And we expect the legacy of something like an America's Cup to help us generate more business. So it's great to have one thing stay for a very long time, as long as it continues to generate business and generate volume for us. But we also see the opportunity in piggybacking on something like an America's Cup to bring new regattas and new people from our core markets who haven't discovered us yet. The sailing calendar has never been as full as it is right now. We've generated a lot of new business on the back of having America's Cup here, and other genres as well. So that's how we're trying to balance, having sticking to one event, but also making the most of it, having it here.
How much outside, when I say outside of the office influence, is there when decisions are made or we approach or look at different sporting events, to bring in?
Outside influence, in
like
terms
a sporting body, like
Mm-hmm.
how much influence is that, or is this something you guys sit back and you brainstorm around the table?
Yeah, the strategy itself is something that came out of the BTA. It's really to use sports tourism to plug in those seasonality gaps that we have. But we have the opportunity to get ideas from external organizations through our experience investment process. That's the annual process that happens every September. We invite people to put ideas and proposals to us. We look at them, and if they're aligned with what the customer wants, first and foremost, our new customer, if they're aligned with what the customer wants, if they're aligned with our objectives and our strategies, then they would get support. So there are various ways that people can actually approach us if they have an idea, and we can look at it, and if it fits in with our strategy and our objectives, we can partner with them on it. The outside influence that really drives what we do is the market, is our customer, is Bermuda's customer. And we've segmented that market to target particular groups of travelers for whom what we have to sell is attractive. The things that we have and the assets that we have here can resonate with those groups. It's everything that we're doing here in terms of strategy, in terms of execution, things that we support. They're market-led and they're customer-driven. That's exactly the same for sport as well.
How do we get them to want to come back for more?
We give them a great experience on the ground when they get here. I have to say that the quality of the facility, the quality of the competition, if that's what's happening, if it's a tournament, and then everything else, the ancillary services around the sports teams and groups that come here, and the people. All of these elements combine to create a great experience, and if they combine well, people come back You know, we still have a 50% repeat rate,
Right.
and people do come back. And I should talk about the ancillary elements because that's important too. You know, when we look at seasonality, everybody is impacted by that.
Yeah.
Transportation, restaurants, you know, etc., retail, etc. And so our strategy takes that into account too, because you know we facilitate good rates at the hotels for hotels that like sports teams,
Right.
and we have another hotel that's going to be coming on board to create you know, new packages and sports teams rates and even sports teams menus in their property.
Right.
We facilitate transportation for them, so taxis, minibuses, and so on, through those lean months that are becoming less lean,
Right.
we hope. And restaurants now are looking at this opportunity and, you know, catering to special menus for sports teams. And so the multiplier effect is going in the direction that we want it to. It's not just about having them come, use the sports facility and stay in a hotel, but it's transportation, it's getting them to go out into the restaurants and to eat,
Right.
whether it's individually or in a group. It's getting them to go into the shops.
Right.
So we want to make the opportunity even bigger for Bermuda.
How do we help to ensure that that part of it is actually getting the message out that you want to make sure, because a lot of teams, and Daniel can probably, when you go on international duty, whether it's training, whatever, the organization and the coaches are all focused on, we're going training, we're going back to the hotel,
Right.
we're going shopping, that's
Yep.
a vacation.
Right.
So how do we try to incorporate to ensure that they do go to restaurants, they do come to town and go to shopping, or go to St. George or go to Dockyard? How do we incorporate all that into the package of come to Bermuda, we have great training facilities,
Right.
we can,
Right.
you know, how do we incorporate
They're very serious about the training,
Yes.
obviously, that's
Yes.
why they're here, that's the core reason. But I think it's just a basic awareness.
Mhm.
So when we present the package and the opportunity to them, we list all the other things that they can take advantage of.
Okay.
At the end of the day, they do or they don't.
Right,
But if they don't even know what's available,
right,
and some teams have gone out. You know,
Yeah.
some teams have had a meal, at least one meal at a restaurant.
Right.
Yeah.
And some teams have gone to the beach, you know, at the end of the schedule,
Right.
right? So what our job is to make them understand what's
Aware
out,
of what's-
aware
okay.
of what's out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you look at the numbers, are you ahead of what you thought you would be, or are you where you thought you would be, given this is one of the first times that we've tried something of this nature?
I can say that we're very satisfied with where we are. So this is 1,900 people who came for sport in the first 3 months of this year, which has contributed to the overall figure of almost 14% increase in
Right,
arrivals.
right.
So we're very happy with that number, and we see that now as our benchmark. This is the first sort of full year we're going to be doing this properly. So that's the benchmark to start from.
Right.
And the indications are that we can grow this business. There's a lot of interest. We're just wrapping up another couple of collegiate level teams who are going to come here to swim. One of whom will be bringing over 70 people.
Oh,
One of whom will be bringing over 70 people in December. We're very happy about that. To get a group for sport of that volume at that time of year is business that Bermuda needs. So we're feeling very good about the trend and the direction in which this is going. Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good. What else does the sports center? What else could possibly the sports center do to be able to provide for various other sports that can possibly come to the island and facilitate there?
Well, Daniel, do you want to have a chat? We were just there.
Yeah, no problem. So, I mean, there's a variety of sports that can take place up there. So we have the track and field. Obviously, we just had the area permit meet up there. So track and field, the field hockey, swimming, of course, which is taking off. I mean, since the Danish team has been in Bermuda in January, I mean, we've had a lot of interest in swim teams coming to Bermuda. So the pool will definitely be heavily utilized throughout the year. And also, as Pat had mentioned, in December, we have at least 2 or 3 teams who are actually pretty much confirmed to come in December. So beyond that 70 mark, we will have probably well over 100, 150 athletes here almost at the same time, which is great. Obviously, we have the soccer there and the cricket there and lacrosse. So we're trying to maximize the use of the fields and going out to different colleges and universities and also different sports vendors to kind of get the business here. So Pat and myself is working hard to try and to get these teams here and overall have great experience while they're here and to kind of create a legacy and a partnership and relationship so they can come back and kind of have Bermuda as a home base.
Are we targeting just East Coast, all up and down the East Coast, or are we?
Yeah, well, primarily those would be our core markets, and so that makes the most sense. Gateway cities to Bermuda, that makes the most sense. We'll continue to make the opportunity available make people aware in Europe as well, the UK specifically. But our core markets are along the US East Coast, so that makes the most sense for us. And we're getting a great response. We're getting a great response from the US and from Canada, actually. We already have had some business out of Canada, even with the currency issues, which is great to see. But it really does speak to what we're offering. I think it speaks to the quality of the product. It's close, and when they have come, they've had a really great experience.
I want to call it a road show because obviously that's when you're going out to try to sell, it's almost like you're on a road show. So what are some of your talking points when you go out to these organizations looking and offering our facilities here in Bermuda for them to train and use? And
I think one of the key talking points is how easy it is to get here. The short flight makes a huge difference. Even if they're going to Florida, it's like 4 hours for some of them. So that's a big surprise for a lot of the teams. And the fact that they can use the facility because of our sponsorship, they can use the facility for the training sessions for free or little or no cost. I think that's something that's a big selling point. And the facility itself. When they understand what it is that we have here and how accessible it is to them, that makes for a good opportunity as well. Very good aspects of what we're offering, and then to have the accommodation at a special rate, and to have people accommodate them in terms of food as well, because some of them have special dietary requirements. All of those things build up to making it a very attractive package.
Where do you see your relationship with all these organizations in, say, a year's time?
Oh, well, our intention is that they will continue to send teams to Bermuda. And, based on the feedback that we've had, every single team that has been here, and importantly, the decision makers, the coaches who have been here with their teams have been absolutely delighted. They've been surprised in some cases, just, really that we've blown their expectations out of the water. And if we can continue doing that, I expect that we will see more and more teams. There's no reason it shouldn't grow, and that's what we're hoping for.
Then you're knocking on your door to say bring more football teams.
I mean, it's funny because we've actually been had a lot of interest from the professional levels as well in teams, not even at the amateur level, but at the professional level. Even individual athletes are looking to come to Bermuda just to train on their own, and also bringing teams. So we've been in contact with a lot of professional organizations and sports teams that want to utilize Bermuda as a training base, and also to get local competition as well. Like I said earlier, in the area permit meet, there was all professionals. So and there was actually had to turn down a lot of the professionals to come here on island. So I mean, we're creating a lot of buzz within the tourism industry, sports tourism market, and like everyone's wanting to come to Bermuda. I mean, we're trying to promote Bermuda in addition to what Pat said, or the other elements, but we want to be looked at as a premium sports destination here. A lot of people don't know about Bermuda and what we have to offer, and we can deliver. All of our facilities are pretty much sanctioned, and people kind of gravitate to that. And I've actually spoken to a few of the professional coaches, and they're like, well, some of these facilities are actually better than facilities that we go to, even going into Brazil in the Olympics. So like, we could have came here, and done the Olympics, but yeah, so it's good that, we're actually getting the notoriety as we speak, and people are definitely interested. Teams are, calling me every day, and I'm going to Pat every day and saying, these people want to come to Bermuda and go from there. So it's been great. I mean, it's definitely going to be a good year, and going forward, this sports tourism is going to be at an all-time high, I think.
How do we continue the wave? Because we're riding a wave right now.
Yeah.
Well, what we're doing is really, I mean, America's Cup, for example, getting all this new business is a priority for us. The legacy of having that kind of sporting occasion, that big event, is what's important. You can't just not have anything after that. So we're very focused on building up the sporting calendar right after America's Cup next year. I mean, and we already have business lined up for the third and fourth quarter of next year. Has to be, because you can't just have everything go dark right after that happens. And so we're very conscious of making sure that we do continue this. That has to be the legacy of having something like that here. And we're already booking business and booking groups for the end of 2017 and beyond. So you will see new sporting events. You will continue to see world-class sporting events, and you'll continue to see sports teams coming here to train on amateur level and professional level. But this will continue to be a core part of what we're doing here.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
Good.